Good morning. We went live first go today. Happy Mother's Day to anybody in Australia that is, I don't think Mother's Day is the same day across the world, but here in Australia it's Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day, no matter whether you're a mother to a biological child, foster child, bonus child, furry child, grown-up child. It doesn't matter. We were born to nurture, weren't we? And that's what I'm going to talk about today because there's a very real reason we don't actually put ourselves first. We're actually biologically wired as women with estrogen to not put ourselves first. So I thought it would be a good topic to cover today on Mother's Day. Now, if you're watching, let me know. Happy Mother's Day, Mum. I went and got myself a coffee as my treat rather than make my own. I thought, well, I'm going to go get one since it's like a whole 2 minutes up the road. So let's talk about why we're biologically wired not to put ourselves first. It's very common. And I learned this quite a few years ago, and I often say this to people, especially when I see like husbands and wives having a go at each other about little things. I'm like, it's because of the way we're wired. It's not something we can do anything about, really. Now, so men are born with testosterone, right? Most people know that. And women too, but men mostly testosterone, women mostly estrogen. Women are externally driven because of the estrogen. Okay. Men are internally driven because of the testosterone. Okay. So biologically wired for this. So you give a man a job, he is focused, done, I'm going to get that job done, and going to bed is a really, really good example. Man gets up, I'm going to bed, goes to bed. Women get up who are externally driven. We don't have that internal goal of focus of let's get this done. Women have this external drive of we see everything that needs to be done. As we walk to the bedroom, we see the, nail polish left out on the bench that has to be put away. We see the random bill or thing that needs to be in the office. And so it takes us twice as long to get to bed because we're externally wired to see all of these things around us. Now, how this plays out, and I've seen this play out like going out of the house. The guys, they're there, they're in the car, they're ready to go. Come on, let's go. Because they had one job. They had one internal focus, internally driven, one goal, get in the car, go at this time, right? Women see all the things that need to be put in the car, that need to be grabbed, that need to be put away, that need to be dissolved or whatever has to happen for you to get in the car and go on that trip. Go on that drive, whatever you're doing. So then you get in the car, you arrive late, husband's getting cranky because, we didn't leave on time because that was the internal drive, that was the goal. Women are like, I didn't have time. And we're justifying our actions of, but this had to be done and we had to pack food and the kids had to be done this and this, that, and the other. Whereas we need to recognize from each other that, well, the men are driven to get us somewhere at a certain time. That's their goal. The women are driven to make sure everything is taken care of so that when we get to that goal, we get to that place, we've got all the lovely things that we need. We've got the food, we've got all the things, right? The kids preferably in the car as well. So it's a really interesting thing when you play it out from a perspective of putting ourselves first when it comes to our health and the things that we need. Generally, as a female with that estrogen, we're externally driven of like, oh yeah, no, but money-wise, this has to happen, that has to happen, this has to happen. Oh no, look, it's probably better that I don't do this for myself. Or food-wise, oh no, this person likes that, this person likes that. So, we're going to make sure they have what they like because that's what we do as nurturers, as you know. And I don't care if you're an actual biological mother or not a biological mother. We are wired as mothers, we are wired as nurturers, so we're always going to put other people before ourselves. So it gets tricky, because when you need to do the things for yourself, for your own health, it goes against every grain, every innate um, part of you to go, no, 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 I'm going to do this for me. It's like, even though I've done a few big things for myself in the most recent years, you know, weight loss surgery and getting my arms done and things like that, it went against so much in my head that, oh, you know, no, it's okay to spend that money, because we've got other goals now. You know, we're saving to go overseas, we're doing this, that, and the other. So it's just such a not normal feeling, or a not normal thing, to say, no, 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 I need to do this. And that's why. So I think sometimes we just have to remember that it's not that, you know, we're a martyr or we're a victim or any of this sort of thing. It's just that that's how we're wired. And that was because the men would go off hunting to get the food, and the women had to make sure everything else was taken care of. You know, it's like the whole barbecue thing. The men cook the barbecue, but the women make sure it all comes together and it's all prepared and it's all ready to go. That's what happened in the early caveman era days, is that the women had to have their focus everywhere to make sure the kids weren't snatched off by a lion or whatever happened back then, who knows. But that's how we're wired. And I think sometimes we just forget that it's okay that we're wired that way. But we also need to sometimes remind each other that, hang on, no, 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 don't get frustrated with me and I won't get frustrated with you, because that's how we work as a team, right? So it's a really, really interesting thing. But we still have to get to a point with our own health. And I think what happens over time, with life gets busier, the stresses in life these days are that much more than they used to be. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're just different kind of stresses. I don't know. I'm not sure I'd want to face a lion in my campground. So any more than I would want to deal with whatever the stresses are of today. But either way, there comes a time where you have to go, oh, you know what? If I don't put my health first, then the entire clan, tribe, whatever, whoever's around you, is not going to survive, because you're not going to be there to make it all happen. But it's not a comfortable feeling. And because it's not a comfortable feeling, we tend to go, oh, no, 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 that's not what we should be doing, rather than thinking it's not comfortable because we don't have the neural pathways to make it feel comfortable. Remember, I've spoken about before that new things have to form a neural pathway for us to do it over and over, for us to feel comfortable. If we don't have a pathway for something already, then that change, that newness, it's like a new job. It feels weird. You're unsure of yourself. This can't be right. You know, I'm no good at this, all the things, simply because we don't have a neural pathway for that yet. So we have to kind of find a neural pathway for ourselves, that it's okay to put ourselves first, and the whole world's not going to fall apart, you know, and your child's not going to go without food just because you've put yourself first, or, you know, your family's not going to be bankrupt just because you put yourself first. So it's a really tricky thing to navigate. And I see it a lot. I see it time and time again, where women don't do it, and the discomfort of doing it usually ends up in some kind of fight, or some kind of, you know, something that didn't go down well, so they never do it again. And I think it's just really a sad thing that we've got ourselves to this point where we don't go, it's okay for me to do XYZ for my health. It's okay for me to, you know, feed myself first, the food that I need, and then make the food for the family separately, or whatever it is. You know, isn't that a common thing with diet? You know, women saying, I'm not making 3 separate meals. Why not? you're worth making a separate meal for. I have always made myself a separate meal because I don't want to eat what they ate, and they wouldn't want to eat what I eat. So that's that. Oh, okay, you can put yourself first. You're allowed to take that extra 10 minutes and think of yourself as you're worth the effort, So it's a tricky thing to navigate, I have to say, and we don't even tend to put ourselves first on days like Mother's Day. There's still all the work to be done. There's still all the things, although some mums do, and that's great. And I've got friends that over the years, their birthday is absolutely, they don't go to work on their birthday and they don't cook and they don't do anything like that. They've always done this, and which I admire, because to always have your birthday off work and just say to your work, no, I don't work on my birthday. How's that for putting yourself first? That's awesome. But that's where we're at. That's what we do with ourselves, and it's really, I think it's a thing that we need to start being more accepting of each other, that we're wired differently, and that's okay. That's not a judgment on us, or it's not a judgment on them. It's just the way we're wired, and being accepting of that, I think, is just so important, and understanding that and reminding each other, yeah, no, it's okay. I know you're ready to go, but don't forget, I'm externally driven. I have to do all these things first. So, maybe your internally driven goals should be a little bit later to allow for all my externally driven things that I have to do. Right? I don't know. I think if we get to a point where we can talk to each other like that, then it becomes just like, oh, okay. And then it's less issues. I don't know. But I think that's all I wanted to really say today is, and I know most people will be off enjoying their Mother's Day, or hopefully having a cup of tea in bed or breakfast in bed. My husband's at work, so therefore I went and got my own coffee. But that's okay, because I'm worth it. Yeah, so I hope that's what everybody is doing today. It's not going to be a long one. In fact, it's pretty much finished now. And Mum, I will FaceTime you after this, so we will chat then. But I just want to remind everybody today that you are worth the effort. It is okay to put yourself first. It's the whole, analogy of the oxygen mask first. If you're not well and healthy and happy, then the rest of the family is their wellness, their health, their quality of life is only going to be equal to or less than your own. Putting them first doesn't make their world, their life, their health better. But we think it does. That's why we always do it. It does not. Theirs can only be as equal or less than ours, because as we lose the bandwidth, as we lose the energy, as we lose just that, the overwhelm that we get from the things that have to come into living life the way it is now, all the things that the kids have to get driven around to, all the different stresses that come with just being a parent these days is insane. So it's something that if we don't put ourselves first, then we're not going to give our children, or give the people that we nurture, children or no children, the life that they deserve. And we all want them to deserve that kind of life. So that's it. That's all I wanted to say. It's okay to put yourself first. Happy Mother's Day, no matter what kind of child you are nurturing, big, little, furry, or otherwise. And I will see you next Sunday. Happy Mother's Day.